Hello, hello, hello. I am live. I'm not sure if any of you guys can hear me yet. Just trying to make sure that the mic is working here. I am Giovanni. This is my YouTube channel, The Movie Canon, and I'm doing a new episode of the Met Report today from Las Vegas, Nevada, as you can see in the background here. Let me just double check on something here before we move forward, because I just want to make sure that the mic is working. So give me a moment here. Okay, it seems to be working just fine here. So, again, I'm Giovanni, and this is the Movie Canon YouTube channel. Tonight's episode is one of the Met Report episodes, which, if you don't know what the Met Report is it's a show that I've been doing in my channel for a couple of years now, maybe like a year and a half or so. It's about movies, entertainment, and TV news. That's basically what the episode is really about. For this particular episode, I'll be doing this alone. Usually, I'm being joined by, our movie Canon movie council. We're not doing that tonight. It'll just be myself. But for this episode, I'm going to rank all the MCU Phase 4 films only. I'm not going to do the Disney Plus TV episodes. And I'm going to try to see how this works out with the Vegas backdrop here, as you can hear a bunch of sirens here. So we'll see how this goes with this live stream. But so before we move forward with that, we do have the Funko Pop that I announced last week, and it's this one right here, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I am giving away one of these Funkos, either Star-Lord or Drax, from the new Disney Plus show that's coming out on November 25th, so this Friday. The minimum requirements for the minimum entries that I needed, I already got more than that I needed, so this giveaway is activated, and so it's moving forward. So it's activated, it's good to go. It is still open. This giveaway is still open, so you can still possibly win it. Read the description of this video or go to my Instagram page at the Movie Canon to find out how to enter if you haven't done so already. So if you already did so, you don't have to do this again. But if you haven't, you must have a mailing address within the United States and must be a subscriber to the YouTube channel of the Movie Canon or the Instagram page. Now, there is another giveaway that I'm announcing today. One of the biggest ones that I've ever done on my channel. I mentioned that on my Instagram page like maybe half an hour ago. So I'll give a chance to some people to join the live streams to be one of the first ones to get the announcement. And I'll give you a little bit of details in this live stream sometime in this video here, this live stream here. I'll tell you what it is a little later, but the other Funko Pop giveaway is still open. So this Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, as I mentioned, it is still open. Alright, so let's go ahead and begin here. So the first thing that I want to start today in the Met Report, before we talk about the MCU Phase 4 films ranking, what happened last week is we did have the news that Jason David Frank, who was the Green Ranger and the White Ranger, and I think he was the Red Ranger and a Black Ranger at one point, in the Power Rangers TV series from the 90s. I grew up with this character. What is kind of sad about this more than anything is that I grew up with two things that I really, really loved as a kid. We have the Batman animated series, which I absolutely loved. I got a lot of, the Batman toys, Batmobile characters from that show, and it's still the best Batman animated series that exists even in today's standards. So we had that show that I loved as a kid, and then Kevin Conroy passed away on November 10th, which is a little over a week ago. November 20th is when Jason David Frank passed away, which is 10 days after Kevin Conroy. So we have these two top actors in my childhood, basically, who have passed away within 10 days of each other, which is kind of odd to me, but I definitely had to mention this. And Matthew's on the stream, and Robbie's on the stream. It says, looks like you can hear me, which is good. And Matthew said hello. So hello, everyone. So again, I was going back to Jason David Frank. So I did get a chance to actually meet him in 2020. So I was glad I was able to do that. I took a picture with him, got an autograph. He signed my OG Green Ranger, Power Ranger. So I have that, and I just heard the opportunity that he was going to be at a local toy store, so I just quickly got the tickets to go and like try to meet him and everything. So I'm glad I did, because that wasn't even that long ago. That was like a little over 2 years ago, and now we find out that he passed away due to suicide, and he must have some kind of a mental illness going on. We don't really know the details of it yet, but I just wanted to mention this because Jason David Frank definitely was one of those actors that was part of my childhood, something that I just really, really loved at the time, and I just wanted to meet him a couple years ago because, again, he was a childhood idol of mine. So rest in peace, Jason David Frank. It's very sad for the reasons that he passed away, because it's something that he could have avoided. But like I said, we don't know what kind of issues he might have had that we may never know about. But so I just wanted to do this very quick little segment here. So again, this is Giovanni. If you guys are just joining me, I'm doing my latest episode of the Met Report. I am from Las Vegas, Nevada, as you can see in the background here. I am doing the Marvel Studios Phase 4 films ranking. So again, it's just going to be by myself. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So the MCU Phase 4 has 7 films. Okay, so again, I'm not going to mention any of the series like WandaVision, She-Hulk. None of those I'll be talking about tonight. It's just the movies. So we're gonna start with my least favorite one. So the number 7th spot is Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson. Now they introduced Black Widow back in I think it was Iron Man 2, and she had a supporting role there. And throughout the years, Black Widow was in a lot of the MCU films, Avengers movies, Captain America films, and so on. And so I think that the whole reason why they even did a Black Widow movie is just because maybe the fans wanted her to have a solo movie, because she's like the only, original, I was going to say original gangster, the original Avengers that doesn't have a solo film, from I believe, because we have Iron Man, we have Captain America, we have Thor, Hulk has his own, but Black Widow never got her own solo film. So I think they just decided, let's just do a solo Black Widow movie. After watching the movie, I think it's kind of not really necessary. I thought it was an okay effort for this character. I wasn't a huge fan of the character to begin with. I think she's very good, very strong when it comes to supporting roles in other MCU projects, and Scarlett Johansson is absolutely great as Black Widow. Initially, it was supposed to be Emily Blunt. She was originally cast, and she had to drop out over some Jack Black movie that a lot of people don't even know about or remember. But we got Scarlett Johansson, who is great. I watched it. It's a solid movie, but it was kind of weak. Didn't love it that much. I think I gave it like a solid B or something like that, or maybe B minus, something like that. So it's definitely the weakest one. It's not as interesting as all the other Marvel characters, and it's not as interesting as the Phase 4 character, or the Phase 4 films. We get some new characters that are introduced in Black Widow, which are going to be used in like Thunderbolts and other films moving forward. But overall, I didn't think it was all that great. Leave me a comment in the description or the comment section of this video to see if you actually loved Black Widow. Maybe it's higher on your list, but this is my number 7 spot. I'm gonna move on to the next one here, number 6. So we have Thor: Love and Thunder. So this is the 4th Thor movie. I really did like the 3rd one, Thor Ragnarok. I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. The second one I didn't hate as much as most people did. And then I did like Thor Ragnarok. Thor Love and Thunder, while I did enjoy overall thoroughly. Sorry, I had to cough. I did enjoy thoroughly, but it was still not great when I think of what were the best Phase 4 MCU films. Frankly, I kind of forgot about Thor Love and Thunder when I was making that list. I was just going over that. I was thinking of all these other movies, and then I was like, oh wait, Thor Love and Thunder is actually in this phase, and it just came out a couple months ago. This one's on Disney Plus, and like I said, I saw it in theaters. It was good. I mean, it had some great funny moments, and I did like it overall. I still don't know if this movie is actually better than Thor Ragnarok, but unfortunately, this film did make it to the bottom of the list. Again, we only have seven MCU movies, so it's not like there's too many projects, I should say, that we're looking into here, but it is at the number 6 spot. So I'm gonna move on to the number 5th spot. So again, ranking all the Phase 4 MCU films, we have Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness, or In the Multiverse of Madness. It is directed by Sam Raimi. And then we have Doctor Strange, and for many, many years, I've speculated that Scarlet Witch will be the villain of this film, and it turned out to be true. And I did like that. I did like that she was the villain of this film. But I had so much higher expectations for this movie that I think that's why it kind of was kind of at the bottom. Well, not the bottom, but not as high as I thought it would be. There's a lot of stuff going on here. We have the Illuminati, and then we have, again, this is spoilers, so just, if you haven't seen Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I'm about to spoil something here. And, we get to see John Krasinski as Fantastic Four. I can't remember his name now. Mr. Fantastic. Can't remember the actual scientist's name. So we get to see that we saw Professor X, although they kind of introduced him in the trailer, which I think they should have saved for the movie. Overall, it was kind of a basic general story, and I was expecting it to be a little bit more. I can't really explain as to what it is that I was expecting, and it's not always good to expect certain things. But overall, I did think it was solid. It was good. Like I said, I like Scarlet Witch. I thought she was quite good. Matthew here on the chat says that he hasn't seen, I think he's talking about Black Widow, because I know he saw this movie. Multiverse of Madness should have been last. Okay, so that's Matthew's opinion. It should have been the number 7. I don't think it was that bad. I think it was pretty solid, pretty good, but definitely not number 1, since it is here at the number 5th spot. I think the other thing was probably why I was disappointed. Was it because of the director, Sam Raimi? Big fan of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, most of them anyways, the first 2. And he came back to direct another Marvel movie, and he's part of the MCU, so I think that's why the standards were pretty high. But yeah, unfortunately, it's at number 5 at this ranking list here, so there we go. All right, so let's move on to the number 4 spot, and it's Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. It just came out a couple weeks ago, the sequel to the first Black Panther movie that came out in 2018. Now, there's a lot of questions about this film because, as we all know, Chadwick Boseman passed away in 2020, and they already had a script for this movie, and so a lot of the questions was like, well, what are they going to do with the Black Panther character? Who's going to take over? Who's going to take the mantle of Black Panther? Because, as I mentioned before in many other of my videos, Shuri doesn't fit the tradition of becoming a Black Panther, because the Black Panther has to be a warrior, and if somebody challenges you for the mantle and to become king, which is the same thing, Black Panther and being king of Wakanda are the same person, at least in that tradition that they've established. how could Shuri go against anyone? Because she's not really. I don't think she's fully trained or even capable of possibly, fighting. Let's say Mbaku wants to challenge the next one, moving forward. How would that happen here? So, and I probably should have mentioned this earlier. This is a little bit of a spoiler thing. So if you haven't seen this movie, um, yeah. So just so you know, in case some of you guys did not know this, I am ranking all the Phase 4 MCU movies, so there's going to be some spoilers. So if you haven't seen any of them, I'm just letting you know right now, there's going to be a lot of spoilers here. So hopefully you've seen them, or maybe you don't care. So anyways, going back here to the, what was it, the number 4 spot. So there's a bunch of things that I like. Like I like that Namor. Namor was really great. Dennis Huerta was great as the character. I like seeing the underwater world. It was definitely a little too long. 2 hours and 41 minutes is pretty long. There were just some things that just didn't really make much sense when it comes to how things are gonna move forward within the rules and the traditions that have been established in Wakanda. That didn't really make any sense, and it kind of just came out to because they wanted to make Shuri Black Panther. But there's plenty of other stuff that I really, really liked. So I think I gave this a solid B. It was definitely a movie that I recommended. It's definitely good, and it's definitely worthy to see in theaters. But I just didn't think it was on the top of the MCU Phase 4. Alright, so I'm going to move on here to the next spot here, which is the number 3 spot. So let's see what we have here. Oh, the number 3 spot, I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree with me on this one. My number 3 spot is going to be, for at least in my opinion, is Eternals. Eternals, I felt that it's very rich in story. Personally, and I think overall, I think a lot of people think this, or at least I hope so. I think most people like a good story, a lot of lore, a lot of interesting elements in storytelling in film, in movies. So I thought this was very rich with that, with Eternals. There's a couple characters in this movie that are not really that likable, and it probably takes some people out of that of this film. But I did actually like Eternals. This movie is actually also pretty long. I think it's like 2 hours and like 38 minutes or so. And this one actually didn't feel that long. And it was directed by the filmmaker, Oscar-winning filmmaker from No Man's Land, Chloe Zhao, I believe is her name. So it was kind of nice and cool to see a Oscar-winning director, a recent Oscar-winner director, having this film coming out. So I think it was very well made when it comes to the actual film and how everything was made. It was great. It was good. Some of the CGI is a little questionable, although I do like the creatures. The creatures are pretty cool looking, except some of them don't look as good. So I just thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I think I saw this movie twice in theaters, which the other ones I don't think I even did. So number 3, of course. Actually, there's another movie that I watched more than once, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So number 3 is going to be Eternals, as I already mentioned here. So let's go and move on to the next one here. So I already talked about that I'm doing this ranking of the films, MCU Phase 4. I'm not doing the Disney Plus shows, just the movies. So I just did number 3. So let's move on here to the second one here. Number 2 is Shang-Chi and the The Legend of the Ten Rings. So this movie was actually surprisingly good. I didn't really have any high anticipation or expectation from this movie. Like, I know it was going to come out and everything, but I had no idea what this movie was going to be about. I'm not familiar with the character. It came out, and I did love it. I think I gave it an A- on my Instagram, a rating when it first came out. This movie came out in a little over a year ago, September of 2021. And the action is great, the storytelling is great, even some of the comedy was good. Again, some of the CGI was questionable, that's for sure, especially in that the other world that Shang-Chi's family is from. Some of those creatures look a little weird and seem unfinished, but again, I always go back to story. The story is very important to me. I think story is very important for a lot of people. So the story in this film was very good, and I really, really liked it. I watched it a couple times, and this is a very strong, not just MCU film in Phase 4, but I think overall. It might be maybe top 10. Now remember, there's like over 30, or maybe there's like 30 MCU films now. Yeah, I believe Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I think that's the 30th MCU film. So I think this movie might actually be in top 10. I mean, I haven't done a ranking of the whole MCU film entries lately, but I think it might actually be there. So there you go. So let's see here. So let's go back here. So again, ranking all the MCU Phase 4 films. I just did number 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. So we're going to go back. We're actually going to get to the number 1, which I think a lot of you already figured this out. Probably before I even started this. But before we do that, again, I'm doing the Funko Pop Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. That is still open. I have enough entries, but you can still enter and you can still win. I will be announcing the winner of this Funko Pop very soon, and as I mentioned earlier, I have a big, huge Funko Pop giveaway. I'm going to announce in just a moment here. Hopefully, I don't forget. And I'll give you a little bit of details, but I'll give you more details later on. But I'll announce it, and you guys who are watching live will have the upper hand because I will add your name twice if you're actually watching this live. So let's see here. So we'll talk about that in a moment here. So let's actually go back to just a recap before we get to the number 1 spot. So number 7, Black Widow. Number 6, Thor: Love and Thunder. Number 5, Doctor Strange, Into the Multiverse of Madness. Number 4, Wakanda Forever. Number 3, which a lot of you I'm sure are disagreeing with right now, Eternals. And number 2 is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So obviously the number 1 spot is, of course, Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't think there was any question. This movie was being talked about for years, and I don't think I ever actually got a chance to really talk about this movie, especially when it first came out. I gave it a solid, I think I gave it a good A- as well, but like maybe like a solid A. This movie has everything you wanted in a Marvel movie. It is a spectacle kind of movie. It's one of those popcorn films. It's those movies that you wait for and that you can't wait to see. I actually did a thing with my family. We did a private screening of this movie. It was like 25 of us or 30 of us who went and watched this movie the first day it came out, and that was a good experience. And I mean, we have Spider-Man. Spider-Man is one of my favorite comic book characters. Only second to Batman. Batman's my favorite character, but Spider-Man is the next favorite character there. So I like Tom Holland as this Spider-Man, and then obviously this Spider-Man No Way Home has all of them. Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire. So there you go. So we have a bit of spoilers there. I mean, this movie has been out for almost a year, so if you were interested in watching Spider-Man No Way Home and you're just now seeing this and this was spoiled for you, then I don't think you're really that interested. But Spider-Man No Way Home is great because we got to see these characters again. We got to see these villains again: Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin, Lizard, Sandman, Electro even, which he's not even that good in Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield. So As far as the story wise, it's a solid story. Like I said, it's not a groundbreaking story or anything like that. But when you love the characters and you have a pretty good story there going on, moving forward here, moving the plot forward, and it has connecting tissues to other stuff. You love the actors, and there's a lot of sense of surprise and all that stuff. Even though a lot of us knew that there was always the rumor that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are going to be in Spider-Man: No Way Home. I knew this unofficially, obviously, when I heard the reports years before this movie came out that they had cast Molina. I can't remember his first name. Alfred Molina as and he's playing the role of Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man: No Way Home. I was like, okay, well, we know that we're going into some multiverse shit, so yeah, that's obvious to me that we're gonna see at the very least Tobey Maguire back somehow in some capacity in this new Spider-Man movie, and then possibly Andrew Garfield. That only confirmed it when we see Jamie Foxx, who was announced to play the character of Electro, and so that's kind of confirmed it to me. But it took a while. They didn't show that in the trailers or anything, and I think it was a good idea that they just kept that secret, even though a lot of us knew. They kept that secret in the trailers and didn't actually reveal it until you actually saw the movie. So I thought that was very cool. That's a good spectacle moment for movie fans, blockbuster films, and so on. So it was a great experience, great film. That's what a lot of these Marvel comic book movies should be, right? So A- is definitely the best one in Phase 4, easily. And we have here, let's see, Matthew says, what about when John Campea leaked it? Well, what about it, Matthew? Yeah, so he did leak some photos. He said that it wasn't intentional. But yeah, he did leak some photos. So a lot of people saw those pictures, and there were still questions as to was it real, was it not? Although they look pretty real to me. So, and then we have also here. Oh, Jessica says, "Wow, what have you?" Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm on a balcony right now of the hotel, so I was trying to figure out how this would work, but I think this is probably the best shot that we can do for now, considering and everything. So, and then we have Ivan Cardenas. I haven't seen all the Phase 4 movies, but I'm still surprised with the order. I'm not surprised with number 1, though. All right. And then we have Horror Collector Fiend. Hey, Movie Cat. Oh, hello there, Horror Collector Fiend. You've been on our streams a few times, so thank you for that. So hello. All right. So number 1, obviously, Spider-Man: No Way Home. So let's go back just a recap of all the films here. So number 7, Black Widow. Number 6, Thor: Love and Thunder. Number 5, Doctor Strange. In the multiverse of madness. Number 4, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Number 3, Eternals. Number 2, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And number 1, Spider-Man: No Way Home. All right, so we got that going on here. Okay, so that's it for the ranking here. And Jessica says here, the nostalgia factor alone made this an easy number 1. Yeah, and then that's kind of the thing. It's kind of like, well, we got to see Tobey Maguire again as Spider-Man. We haven't seen him since 2007. And even that movie that came out, Spider-Man 3, was pretty bad, pretty terrible. I really didn't like it. And I think a lot of people didn't like it. So it was nice to see him again. And then the whole thing with Andrew Garfield, with the Amazing Spider-Man, that Peter Parker, in Amazing Spider-Man 2, he's kind of like redeemed because of what happened to Gwen Stacy, that he wasn't able to save her. And then when he actually saves MJ and Tom Holland's Peter Parker, that was cool. So a bunch of like little things like that push it even further there for all of us, I would say. Okay, so I'm going to announce the big, huge Funko Pop announcement. Okay, so let me find the thing here. Okay, so this is what we got here. So this is the big Funko Pop announcement. Funko Pop giveaway. Now, I didn't mention this giveaway before, but there was some different instructions. It was a little harder for you to get close to winning even one of these. So this Funko Pop giveaway is like a regular Funko Pop giveaway that we normally do. So this is the 3-pack of the Spider-Man No Way Home Funko Pop that was just released today. I think it was just today, and it was today announced that it was being released on, I think, January 1st, 2023. So it's a little over a month from now that it'll be released. So I will give away this 3-pack for these 3 Spider-Man. We have the Tom Holland version, which they just call it as Spider-Man. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, which they call it as the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, which is called the Amazing Spider-Man. So there's a 3-pack that has all 3, and that's coming out on January 1st, 2023. So I will give this giveaway to a Movie Canon subscriber or Movie Canon Instagram follower if you follow the instructions, which I'll provide a little later, probably in an Instagram post. It'll be very similar to the things that we usually do. Must have mailing address within the US, must be a subscriber, must be a follower, and so on and so on. But there's also something else that I'm going to be a little different, because I'm going to pick a few candidates to actually win this. And we're going to do a bit of a trivia game later on with some of the Movie Canon Movie Council members, where they will be representing those candidates. And they will win based on whether those Movie Canon Movie Council members win the trivia game, which we'll do later on. A few weeks from now, I'll give you guys more details about that. So again, this is the announcement here. Again, I'll give you more details later on, but that's pretty much it for now. And as I mentioned earlier, the other giveaway, this one is still open, so I'll announce the winner for that one fairly soon. So that's pretty much it. So I was here from Vegas. Again, I'm Giovanni. Thank you very much for watching here this latest episode of the Met Report. I was by myself here today, but thank you for watching there, and keep an eye out for new information about the Spider-Man Funko giveaways. I have here Matthew saying, if I'm representing someone, they won. Okay, so I guess Matthew's very, very confident about a potential trivia game. And yeah, all right. So again, I'll give you guys more details about that soon, as to when we're actually going to do that particular stream, and then I'll give you more details as to how to enter. Like I said, it's going to be very similar to what we've done in the past. So thank you everyone for joining me here at this very special from Las Vegas, Nevada Movie Canon Met Report episode, where I ranked all the MCU Phase 4 films. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.